Hello and welcome to another episode of the Uncommon Energy Podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about how AI art has infiltrated the Pokemon art contest, massive scandal. We'll talk about some brand new cards that were revealed over in Japan. We'll, of course, have Guess That Flavor Text, everyone's favorite segment of the podcast. And then we're going to look at a 3v3 tournament, which took place over in Japan this past weekend. Some of the best players in Japan playing with some of the new cards that will be legal at the World Championship. So it's probably about the best early look at the World's format that we're going to get. We'll break down those lists, some of the interesting cards, all that and more this week. And then, of course, we will have our weekly bonus episode over on the Patreon, patreon.com/Uncommon Energy Podcast. If you want to get yourself about 30 minutes extra content from myself and Azul every single week. My name is Chip Ritchie, joined here as always by my friend and co-host Azul GG. What's up, Azul? How we doing, man? How's your week been?
Doing pretty good, Chip. Yeah, had a good time. A lot of content this week. I'm really gonna have a lot of that coming up, and I've actually really been enjoying the downtime, off season, whatever you want to call it, from traveling. Got quite a few more weeks coming up. I do plan on doing like a little bit of traveling, but some of it's gonna be content related anyways. So, um, yeah, nothing major though until Worlds. So I'm enjoying the break, enjoying being consistent with the content, doing all that. And there's one thing I was gonna mention in that as well, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, and then I'm kind of sad about it, but it didn't feel like it was gonna be too exciting if it had continued. The Celtics winning, NBA's done. I really enjoyed up until the finals, I was really locked in. But once the finals started, the first two games were like,
Yeah.
or three games, like made it seem like it was gonna be pretty one sided. The Mavs took one game and then it was over. So yeah, it was kind of a deflating ending to I don't know how good the playoffs compared to like the other seasons playoffs, but I was having a lot of fun watching the playoffs. The finals was a little bit lackluster though. But yeah, NBA's over, which is kind of sad. But besides that, doing pretty good. What about you, Chip?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Pretty normal week. I did spend some time at my in-laws beach condo this weekend with Brooke and Samuel, the kiddo, swam at the pool and stuff like that. He was having a blast. He actually started taking swim lessons, which has been a lot of fun. He doesn't know how to swim. He would just sink if he was in a pool, but he has fun being in the water, trying to learn to, blow bubbles and paddle his arms and kick his legs and hold on to the wall and stuff like that. So we've had a good time at the local pool the last couple weeks doing that. But yeah, been pretty normal. Nothing really to report outside of that this week. There was actually I did want to mention before we get into like the actual episode. Someone the last couple weeks commented on the YouTube asking about what the contents of our bonus episode looks like over on the Patreon, because we mention it every week, but maybe not everyone kind of knows what happens over there. So yeah, before we get into the episode, I did want to just mention that what we do over there. So every week we do, it's basically just like an extension of the actual podcast. Usually
Yeah.
we start off by talking about how we think the episode went. If there's anything that we meant to say during the podcast, but like didn't think about in the moment during our discussion, we'll throw it in there. So it's like just a little behind the scenes, almost a little bit. And then, we'll also talk a bit about some of our personal interests, like Azul talking about basketball. We talked about basketball a little bit the last few weeks as the playoffs have been happening in the NBA. We talk about just general pop culture things like the shows and movies and stuff we've seen recently. And then we do like a weekly discussion with comments and questions from Patreon. So every week we take questions that people leave us on Patreon related to Pokemon, related to other things, food, shows, whatever it might be. So it's really just like a little bit more of us. So
Yeah. Definitely a
if
little
you
bit more
enjoy what we do here and you just want to hear a little more of us, that's what the Patreon is really.
a little bit more lax conversation, covering a little bit wider range of topics of
Yeah.
our interests, but still a lot of Pokemon related stuff from the questions or topics. So yeah, a lot of that's where we
We also
interact
talk a
with
lot
them.
about like it'll come up every once in a while talking about like old formats and old tournaments and stuff. It's kind
Yeah.
of like we reminisce over there a little bit. We do that on the actual podcast too, I feel like sometimes, but
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah. So if there's any that's where we answer a lot of what questions, topics that people bring up as well. So that comes up as well. It's open to any of the patrons over there. Um But yeah, I guess to kick things off, got that AI art, and I don't have too much to say on this personally. There was a really interesting tweet that I saw someone tweet out that I wasn't able to find, where they kind of looked at the AI art and kind of like broke down how you could tell something was AI art, which I found interesting. But I wasn't able to find that tweet for us to take a look at here.
Yeah, so
Um,
for those who don't know what we're talking about, every year the Pokemon Company International hosts a illustration contest where, thousands of artists submit
yeah.
artwork based on a set of parameters of, certain Pokemon that doing a certain thing around like whatever the theme was. I don't remember what the theme was for this one. I think it was like best day or something like that. So it was like meant to be like, a Pokemon just enjoying doing what the Pokemon does. And there's like usually a list of Pokemon for you to choose from. In this instance, I'm scrolling through here. You can see some of them: Absol, Eevee, Feraligatr, of course, Pikachu, Charizard, Koraidon, Toxtricity. I think that might be all of them. Oh, and Bidoof as well. So, and Flygon. So lots of great artwork. From tons of artists. It's always really cool to see. And then these cards do eventually get made into promo cards, which is really, really cool.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Which one?
Yeah.
Because
Uh
I didn't know that was a thing. That's actually
yeah,
super
so
dope.
like everyone submitted their artwork, right? During
Yeah.
the submission period. And then this is the top 300 quarterfinalists. So that's what we're looking at here is all 300 of the top entries. And then from here they'll whittle down and choose 3 of them uh
And then it becomes an
to
official
be
artwork on a
cards,
card?
yeah.
Wait, so wow, that's actually super. I didn't know that was the end of this. What ones do you
Yeah,
know the
here
ones that
here,
become
I'm pulling them up. There's this Bulbasaur from last year or 2022,
okay.
and these actually got regulation marks, like, they're official promos, like, they could be played in tournaments.
How do you even get these cards?
These were obtained via you had to
Because I've never seen these
purchase
cards before.
something on the Pokemon Center and then use a code to get sent these cards. I have them. I wish I had thought about it. I think they're tucked away in a box over there.
You can play these in tournaments too?
They have the F regulation mark.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know it went that far. I thought it was just a kind of like an art contest thing. But that's actually super dope. I didn't know this was the end was to get your card and art your artwork on a card.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's super sick. How long
Yeah.
they've only been doing this like a couple of years, right? Because I feel like I've only known about the last 2 years or so.
I think so, yeah, I
Um,
think it's well, no, there's some old ones,
really.
yeah, I remember there's like a Kyogre that's super rare, the card of itself, because for a while, I think the cards that got made were only sent to the artist,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
so or, like, very limited supply of them. Yeah, here we go. There's an this is I just found this on Bulbapedia. This is the Kyogre I'm thinking about, a Primal Kyogre EX. Like, this is a real card that exists.
Oh wow. But that's the actual card, right? That's not a different text. It's the same text but different artwork.
Yeah. Same text, different artwork, exactly.
Pretty sick.
Um, oh, this was the Art Academy competition. Okay.
Mm,
I'm remembering.
okay.
So, like, there's a video game called for the 3DS called Pokemon Art Academy, and there was a contest around that. But there's been tons of different illustration contest type things over the years. Like this here, 2018 Pokemon Landscapes is what they were asked to create. I think this similarly, these cards were printed as promos. This one looks like it maybe was just in Japan. This Charizard was from one in the Pokemon card game illustration Grand Prix. So I think this is one that took place over in Japan. And then if I scroll down here, yeah, here's the trading card game illustration contest 2022. So I think that might have been the first year they did it. Did they do one?
Um
They maybe didn't do one last year, actually.
okay, so yeah, it was 2022.
Yeah, so
Now they're doing
this is the
2024.
second time that the Pokemon Company International has done one. Okay.
Okay, okay. All right. More you know. But yeah, that's super dope actually. Like, I mean, I'm not an artist, so I'm not gonna try and draw anything to be submitted, but that's gotta be like a pretty, I don't know, exciting, right? Like I'm excited for the people who got their artwork picked to be in an official Pokemon card.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So from these top 300, 3 will eventually get made into cards. These will be the winners and the artists. Yeah, I mean, it's like super, super cool. Like that this is something that you would get to have to be able to just to be able to say, like, yeah, I made the art that's on a Pokemon card. That's pretty dope. But the big story that kind of came out around this once these top 300 were released, a big difference between what happened in the contest in 2022 and then the contest this year is the advancements of AI and
Yeah.
AI artwork specifically. It's definitely been a big, cultural topic discussion point the last couple of years for sure. And some pretty sharp eyed people were scrolling through these different artworks, and they even were able to compare them in a I don't know what this site is, but it's like some
Probably
site that
AI.
can check for yeah, I guess you ask an AI, is
Yeah.
this AI generated? Yeah, maybe that's what it
It
is.
probably is, right?
Yeah. And there's quite a few of these that look like high likely chance that they are AI generated or use deep fake content. Some of the Pikachu and Eevee ones specifically.
I would never be able to tell. Like, I couldn't tell. So I wonder what the things that people look at when they that's what, like, with that tweet that I was mentioning at the beginning when we brought up this topic was someone tweeted out and they had, like, they looked at the image and they circled a bunch of little things and it was like, "This is why you can tell it's, like, AI generated." But yeah, I guess that kinda sucks, Like, I've never really thought too much like, AI in general on my life has generally had, like, I guess, like, a positive impact. Like, all the memes that come from ChatGPT are funny for the most part. In general, AI has had, like, a positive impact on my life, and I've heard about this art stuff, AI art stuff, like how it's, like, impacting or how it could potentially impact stuff in the future, or how it's impacting stuff currently in, like, a negative way, but I never really, like, looked into it too much, but I guess we're kind of seeing that in real time now as it's, like, kind of entering our community space, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, you don't really want someone to just be able to type into a search bar, make an image of Pikachu in a battle, and
Yeah,
then
and
have it
then that takes
generate.
away from, a true artist, right?
Yeah. So definitely, like, that's like now I'm a little bit more interested in this topic. Like, what do the regulations look like moving forward to prevent stuff like this? Um, I mean, maybe it's as simple as having an AI tell you if the art is AI or not on Pokemon's end before they, like, submit it through the submission to be considered for, like, the next round.
I will say there was also a thing here where there's this Eevee art card that was one of the big ones people were pointing out, saying that it was like high chance that AI was used. But
Uh
the
huh.
artist actually came out and posted, just for clarity, have no idea why my painting shows up like this. But in case people are spreading it around, I can assure you I have and never will use a Gen AI in my artwork, possibly because my art has been stolen to train Gen AI its matching.
Interesting. That's the thing you have to be careful as well, right? Like, this says, I mean, this whatever Hive moderation is, like, the site it looks like.
Mhm.
Says it's like a 90% chance of being AI or deepfake content. So, yeah, that's gonna be. I mean,
And
there'll
then
be a lot of, like regulation stuff moving forward, like, to, like, prevent this kind of stuff, I assume. I don't know
it
what the
was
government's
funny
gonna do
too,
about
one of
it.
the replies to this, someone said, "I wouldn't worry about the opinions of AI detection systems too much. You're in pretty good company." And it shows a picture of A Starry Night by Van Gogh, one of the most famous paintings, and this site says that there's a 66% chance that it was AI generated.
I mean, it could be, like,
I
if
mean,
time travel exists,
you
you
know,
know?
you're not wrong. I mean, are we gonna
Yeah.
deny that possibility?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, there'd be a number like, the 99 percentile ones, like, is that where you, like, draw the line or something? Like, the 99%, if it's 99% AI generated, because that numbers were 90 and then only 66 for
Mhm.
the Van Gogh. It'd be weird that it, like, isn't, like, I don't know,
But
like,
then, like, this
cross.
one's like 97%, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, how do you determine if it is or isn't? If
Yeah.
some of them are 90% or this thing thinks it's 90%, but, the artist basically they confirm that they did it themselves. I guess that's not 100% confirmation, right? Because they could be lying, I guess. This is another one of those things, like, doing this, like, obviously, if you, like, AI generate something and submit it, you're doing something wrong. This is one of those things, like, I will never be able to understand why someone would do it. It's like cheating in a video game, right? Like, why would you load up a game of Warzone and have,
Mhm.
like, an aimbot on? It's like, why would you AI generate a Pokemon artwork to submit to a a thing when you know it's wrong and you shouldn't do that. I don't know, it feels really weird. I don't know how, like, I'm always interested in the mentality people have before they do these things.
Also, I do want to give a shout out to like, dude, looking at a lot of these quote tweets here. You see people who like submitted stuff that didn't make it into the top 300, and
Mhm.
some of these are just so good, man.
Yeah.
It's like that wasn't quite good enough to get into the top 300. Man, there's so many talented people in the Pokemon community.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely just kinda crazy.
But yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing that the Pokemon Company International does. I thought it was every year, but I guess this is just the second year they've done it. I hope it's something they continue to do. Looking forward to seeing which ones will get made into actual cards. You got
Yeah.
of the Pokemon featured. Who would you like to see most likely made into a card?
Um, I don't know, some of the
I guess you
Bidoof
haven't really
ones
scrolled through
were
too many of them, but
yeah, I haven't really taken a look on all of them too much. I have a thought now that we're, like, thinking about this and talking about it. Maybe the outcome is just who can put the prompt better into the AI to get the better looking artwork. Maybe that's, like, the evolution of art.
come
That's
on now,
sad. That's
come
sad. I'm
on.
just saying, like, that's not where I want us to go, but, um, Pokemon
Oh,
what
this is pretty
Pokemon?
cool. You could submit them to be EX cards as well. Look at the EX ones.
So people just submitted these, like, in card form.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like you draw just like the regular square, right? And that's just gonna fit into like a
Yeah,
regular card, right? Because it's like you just have to fit the exact dimensions. But you could also, I guess, submit
an
uh
EX where it's,
as
like,
an
breaking the
EX.
borders of the
Yeah. Yeah, some
that's
of
pretty
these are
cool.
sick. This toxicity is super dope.
What about that Bidoof and his teeth?
Those
Dude, there were
big
so many
teeth
Bidoofs. Why
chompers.
everyone loves the Bidoof? Like,
Bidoof is so popular, man.
it's true.
I think it would be cool to
Oh,
see
some
some
of
of
the
the
Melmetals are pretty sick looking,
yeah,
though.
yeah, like a Pokemon that
Yeah, one of
doesn't
these Melmetals
often
make it
get
would be
that much
cool.
love, like the Melmetal or Koraidon. I think those would be cool. Or Toxtricity even fits into that, right?
Yeah,
Like Pokemon, there's been plenty of cool Charizard and Pikachu and even Bidoof cards.
for sure. Yeah, I'm rooting for Melmetal on this one, I think.
But yeah, that was something that happened this past week. Just thought we'd give our thoughts on it. It's definitely a little unfortunate, but I think
Yeah.
like as AI continues to advance, it's just going to be harder and harder to prevent stuff like this, like getting through over, the artists who have put in the effort and the work to refine their craft over years and years and years, right?
You're saying that, like, there'll be more rules and regulations in place to prevent,
No, I'm
hopefully?
saying like even if there is, it's going to be as AI continues to advance, it's going to be more and more likely that
Mm,
more AI things get through. I feel like
maybe. Yeah, I don't know which way it's gonna go, really.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know, like,
how they could limit it.
how you can stop it. Yeah, I'm not sure either. I don't know. I don't know where we're headed with AI. Like I said, it's a little bit, uh, I don't know, like, super scary, but the unknown is, interesting, especially on this kind of front, but hopefully it stops, infecting the, hopefully it stops infecting the Pokemon art, area of the world. Can only hope.
All right. Well, we do have a few new cards released this week. I guess the cards weren't released, but they were revealed to us, so we know what they are. They'll be coming out. This will be stuff from our set Afterworld, so probably with the Terrestrial stuff that we'll be getting in the future. We talked about the Terrapagos and the Skyfield esque stadium. I don't even remember what it was called, but some crazy things coming in the future, and uh, yeah, these cards are gonna be no different. I know you made a video on your channel as well talking about some of these cards. Uh, which ones are the biggest standouts to you that we should definitely look at?
Well, we can ignore the route, dude. When I, like, read I thought the Duraludon evolution was a different form of Duraludon because I thought Duraludon was an evolution
Nope.
because you evolved the V to the VMAX. but, but yeah, this is the Duraludon evolution. But this card's not good, so we don't have to read it. But you have to take a look at the grass Hydrapple, which we knew we were getting. Like, we knew we were gonna eventually get that Hydrapple, and we did get it
Right.
in EX form. It's kind of unfortunate that they gave us so much of the other Apple stuff, and now it's rotated. And now we're getting the
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see it all kinda come together for, like, maybe one
It would be
format.
kinda awkward though, because so it's like so Applin evolves into 3 different Pokemon, right?
Yeah,
But only one of those 3 Pokemon can evolve into Hydrapple, the stage 2.
yeah.
So, it would definitely have been cool, but it almost feels
No matter how
like
many like, you just have a ton of
they
options for
maybe
your
would have
Applin.
to make a rule where it's like you can have more than 4 Applin in your deck.
Maybe, but, like, even then, like, just more options is more power, right? Like, your opponent
Sure.
benches an Applin, and you're like, "Is it gonna become an Appleton? Is it gonna become a
Appletini?
Dipplin or whatever they are?" You know what I'm saying? Like, so it would've been cool to see them all come together for, like, one format. Like, this releases, uh, when the other stuff is legal for, like, and then rotation hits afterwards and the other guys leave for, like, to get one format together, so,
No,
um,
like, the good ones that were used in Zorobox,
yeah.
there's so many, uh, Appletons and Flapples that, like, have rotated that were, like, cool
That's what I'm
cards.
saying. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
wanted those to be with the Hydrapple.
Oh, I see, I see,
That's
I
what I'm
see.
saying, have them all together for one format, uh, and then, like, rotation hits after that, but it didn't quite line up that way. So we just get Hydrapple with, like, the good Dipplin, but that's it. Um,
So this is a 330 HP stage 2 grass type Pokemon. 330 HP is quite a lot.
it is
And it's got the ability Ripe Charge. Once during your turn, you may attach one basic grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. And then Syrup Storm for 2 colorless energy deals 30 damage plus 30 more damage for each grass energy attached to all of your Pokemon.
yeah. So it's pretty
So,
tanky, and then the
yeah,
healing, but then also we got the Grass Ogerpon, right? So you can get like, turn 2, you could theoretically have, like, 6, 7 energy in play maybe.
a
Um,
lot. This thing
yeah,
can hit for a lot of damage really pretty aggressively, I feel like.
yeah.
And it's
It's
like
definitely
gonna just
interesting.
continue to ramp throughout the game.
Yeah. So
Because
there's some
when one of
potential
these goes
there.
down, you only lose 2 energy cards, right?
Yeah, and even then, like, this is actually, like, reading this card, this is actually where I could see that ace spec that heals 150 from your active Pokemon actually combo with it, because the 150 from the item card plus 1 or 2 grass energy, we're looking at 210 healed, which, that could be
True.
enough there. So there's some potential there. I mean, you can just hit pretty hard. It's not overwhelming, but the potential. It's like this card's got potential, I think.
Yeah. It doesn't seem broken, but, like, yeah, just like a good old classic energy ramp type deck, right?
Yeah,
Think back to the Turbo Darks. Obviously, this being a stage 2 does limit it a little bit, right? But
definitely,
it
definitely.
does work pretty well. There's a lot of good grass support right now. Bug catching
Yeah.
set even being out there to, like,
Yeah,
get your
true.
energy cards into hands, Earthen Vessel. I don't know. I think there's potential for sure.
I actually forgot about the set, to be honest, but yeah, the set obviously combos super well, and you have the Dipplin, you have the good Dipplin that can attack twice, right? Oh, I guess you have to play the stadium then at
Yeah.
that point, so maybe you won't actually
I
play
think we're
that
leaving
Dipplin.
Dipplin behind.
Alright, goodbye. Dipplin had never even had a chance, bro.
No.
Just, um,
Let's read the Briar here. People were freaking out about this card
I think it's
this
pretty
past
good.
week. Yeah. And it's definitely solid. So Briar, new supporter card. You can play this card only if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards left. During this turn, if your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from one of your Terra Pokemon's attacks, take 1 more prize card.
Yeah, so I will mention immediately, because everywhere I've seen this card get talked about, someone brings it up. This does not work with Iron Hands. Iron Hands is not a Terra Pokemon, you can't draw 4 prize cards with your Iron Hands. Um, but the card I immediately thought about this when I saw it was, oh, Terrapagos. Is this good with Terrapagos? Terrapagos is a basic. Okay, it seems okay. But then you think a little bit longer and you're like, wait, what are all the Terra Pokemon in the format? Charizard EX, Dragapult EX. This card seems insanely good with Charizard and Dragapult. So I
Yeah.
think that's where it's going to find its strongest partner, because, yeah, it just gives you, like, Charizard already has, like, a lot of control over the prize trade with Radiant Charizard. Getting one more card to work with to allow you to have control over that seems insanely powerful. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's really hard to play around this card, because if you go out of your way to go on odd prize cards, like if your plan is like from 4, instead of from 4 to 2, you go from 4 to 3 to 1, you're giving your opponent an extra turn to play the game. So that like the fact that Briar exists in your deck, even if you don't get to use it, has done what you want it to do. And then if
Yeah.
they do go to 2 prize cards, now you can have a 3 prize turn or something on a 2 prize Pokemon. So yeah, stuff like that seems insanely powerful.
Yeah, this card is definitely super strong. Um, I think the question just becomes like, is it too strong? Because I think that this type of card, similar to what Beast Ring was for a long time, where you have to play around specific turns of the game, specific prize cards, just things that introduce more thought into
Yeah.
how you approach the game. Like maybe sometimes now the correct play is to not take a knockout, right? Or to like do a little bit of damage, not take the one hit KO, right? It just introduces potential ways that you have to play around it, which doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It can just be like an interesting new thing. It could be a bad thing. It could be oppressive, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, Beast Ring is a good example for that, to be honest, because there was, like, Beast
Or
Ring, very
maybe
powerful
Baby
card.
Buzzwole or something like that would be a better example.
Yeah, Beast Ring was, like, a very powerful card, but there was, like, people, like, took interesting lines of play against it to play around it that were good. Like, playing around the card was good,
Yeah.
but the card itself was good as well. And Beast Ring was, like, maybe a little bit harder to play around. And you having to go out of your way to play around Beast Ring was also, like, it gave opportunity to your opponent as well. So it wasn't just kind of like, oh, now that I've played around your Beast Ring, you just lose the game. It was like, okay, now I have more time to do other stuff while you're playing around my Beast Ring and stuff like that. So it seems like a really good card. I feel like with, like, a lot of cards recently though, there's been a lot of people who like over exaggerate the maybe not over exaggerate. They like, I would say we should just look at new cards as being like cool and interesting and trying to figure out how to make them work and not so much, oh my gosh, this is the end of the game or
Yeah.
this is unfun. This is gonna be so unfun or unfair. It's like because like every time that's come up recently in the Pokemon TCG, um, it hasn't come true. I don't think. Like, everything's panned out to be pretty cool most of the time.
Maybe Iron Hands.
But even then, like, Iron Hands didn't feel that
It's
bad.
not, like, quite as oppressive as I think we thought it would be, but it's definitely, like, one of the best cards in the format, for sure,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
I guess, like, not super enjoyable to go up against as
yeah.
well. It's not terribly unenjoyable. It's not as bad as going up against, like, a Quadlax, but, yeah, you're not it's like, Iron Hands can be a little bit annoying.
Next up here, we've got another Terra Pokemon, Lapras EX, 220 HP, water type basic Pokemon. Power Splash is the first attack. Water energy for the requirement 40 times. This attack does 40 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. And then this second attack, water psychic metal. So 3 different energy costs.
Um,
Look at the top 20 cards of your deck and attach any number of energy cards you find there to your Pokemon in play. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck.
yeah, so the first attack isn't very efficient, I don't think, for a 2 prize, 220 HP Pokemon,
Yeah.
because it's all attached to that Pokemon. And the second attack, I just like, that's a good attack. The attack effect is good, but it's expensive at water psychic metal. And then I don't know what we're setting up with it. It's where I'm kind of coming up short. So I don't think the Lapras
Your
is
next
great.
Lapras.
So then what? Set up your next Lapras? It's just a
We're
little
chaining,
Lapras.
baby.
You have to make an agreement with your opponent at the beginning of the game. If I set up 3 Lapras in a row, you have to concede. It's the only win condition for this deck is a gentleman's agreement at the beginning of the match that if you are able to
The first person to get
farm
30
our
energy
rain.
cards in play wins the
Yeah.
game.
Something like that. Because besides that, it doesn't seem great. Unless there's like some like I don't know, maybe they print some like broken Pokemon that needs an insane amount of different types of energy attached to it, and like once it's set up, it's like so hard to deal with. Then Lapras could be a good partner for that. But setting up the Lapras itself, how are we even doing that?
Yeah.
Water, psychic metal. How are we getting those energies on this card?
Crispin plus the ace spec. There we go. We're doing it.
There we go, Crispin. Oh,
And
I
then why
forgot
are
about the
we
Ace
not
Spec
using
tool card.
Crispin
I'm
to
not
set
gonna
up?
lie.
Why are we not using Crispin to just set up the thing that we want to set up with
Yeah,
Lapras?
yeah. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot about the Ace Spec tool card. Plus, we got Crispin. Maybe we're getting there.
You said skip the Archaludon.
Yep. Keep going.
Keep it rolling. We do have the Glass Trumpet here, an item card. You can only use this card if you have a Terra Pokemon in play. Choose 2 of your benched colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to each of them. I don't know what is going on right now at Creatures where they make the cards, but they are just like churning out these Energy Excel options. Like there are
What
so
was
many
the?
ways to accelerate energy coming out in these next couple sets.
Yeah, there definitely is. And Glass Trumpet, when you first read it, seems broken. It's a very powerful effect, but it is pretty limiting. You need a Terra Pokemon in play, and it only goes to colorless Pokemon. I've seen some cool builds that people have been throwing around with Blissey, because you can get the energy on the Blissies, and then Blissies can move it anywhere. You still need playing some type of Terra Pokemon. It does synergize well with the best Radiant Pokemon in the game, Radiant Greninja, getting your energy into the discard pile, drawing new cards, then you accelerate the energy to some colorless Pokemon. So obviously this works with Terrapagos. If you want to be playing like a non straightforward double turbo build of Terrapagos. But besides that, I don't know if there's anything good to play this with besides Terrapagos. But even then, is playing this with Terrapagos better than just playing 4 double turbo energy? I'm also not sure about that. So maybe there'll be some other colorless Pokemon that come out of this set that it works with.
Yeah, I could definitely see this being the type of card where it's like not good right now, but then in like a year and a half, some insane colorless Pokemon comes out and it's like, oh, Glass Trumpet exists in the format, and then it like comes back full circle, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and that is sometimes what happens. I feel like there's less of that in the Pokemon TCG. I feel like generally it's like new set drops, new archetypes are best archetypes.
I mean, then you
But the
have stuff
last
like
couple
Reggie
sets,
Drago, where this is like something that's existed for a year and a half, and it's been pretty bad the whole time, and then now all of a sudden it's one of the better decks.
wait, what? What is?
Reggie Drago.
I don't know if Regidrago is one of the better decks.
Okay, it's like a good deck.
I don't even know if it's a good deck to be
No,
honest.
come
It's
on.
it's fine. Regidrago is fine.
Okay.
You big believer, big fan.
I mean,
It's
next
just a
set,
new
buddy.
it's just the new Zoro box. It keeps getting a Zoro box got a piece every set, bro. Kept loading them up, kept
Dude,
loading
you
them
literally
on.
were just saying how that doesn't happen in Pokemon.
Well, no, but Zoro box never got good.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
sure.
saying. It's just like things that, yeah. But I would like to see more of that because I feel like definitely it's been a little while now, but there used to be more of those. Oh, now we got the final piece. This deck is good. I feel like that happened more back, uh, a little ways now. Whereas more nowadays, it feels like it's like the new set drops, and the only thing that becomes relevant is the newer archetypes. And it's like, how many old archetypes do they push out? But I say that, but I guess like recently, like Dragapult wasn't like super. Like, what even happened from this set? It's got Monkey Dory. It was the Monkey Dory takeover
Well, and Dragapult.
and Dragapult, but like Dragapult wasn't like
Yeah,
yeah.
dominant or
Although
anything.
people
Yeah,
thought it was like right
they did.
for
This
a little
set,
while.
Raging Bolt.
Yeah, we did get the
That is
Raging Bolt,
only
and it
one
was
set
good.
removed, but
That's true. Oh yeah, that's true. It did give Raging Bolt the gas it needed through the Ogre Pawn to actually like start to
it definitely
um
happens. But I mean, there's been plenty of times where that type of thing has happened in the history of the game. I think a similar this one might have been more due to rotation than new cards coming out, but I remember like when Mega Mewtwo popped up, the card came out was terrible because Night March existed. It was a one prizer that just
yep.
easily one hit KO'd it, and then Night March rotated. All of a sudden, Mega Mewtwo becomes one of the better decks, and it was like one of the most popular decks the first few regionals.
I guess it's generally around rotation that happens more than anything because decks
Yeah,
leave the format, which is the bigger impact than
yeah.
new cards coming out to make something good, like make something better. It's like the bigger meta shift is when more decks become good, or other decks become bad, or just go away. So if they just go away, it's like okay, what had bad matchups to these decks, but good
I
matchups to
think
the other decks.
Miraidon could be a decent example as well because Miraidon was not very good when it first came out, right? But then a couple sets later, it starts to become, pretty good.
Is that why I completely forget like
What?
Miraidon's art?
Well, I mean, when Iron Hands came out, obviously it gets a huge boost.
Yeah, there was the boost there.
I think it might have just been in the way people were building decks. Honestly, people like because
I
Miraidon
played
like
at Worlds a little bit, if I remember
Miraidon was
correctly.
okay, and then yeah, Mahone popped up with it at Worlds. Sejun Park won Korean nationals with it before Worlds as well.
Tajin was cooking Miraidon for a long time.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, I'm trying to like think. Man, there's just so much Pokemon that gets played, which is funny to think about because like there's that much. I don't know. We always go back to it. There could be that much more Pokemon we get to play, but because the set releases in Japan sooner, we get to play less Pokemon overall.
Azul
There's
can't go a week
like,
without complaining about
think
the
about how
release
much
schedule.
Pokemon we actually don't play because Japan evolves the game before
It's
us.
true.
Yeah,
Think about how much different things felt like in the XY Sun and Moon era when we didn't have all the information we do
yeah,
now from
exactly.
Japan.
The Japanese players were probably
Ignorance
looking
is
at our
bliss,
results. They were looking at our results and laughing at us like we were doing that like literally 3 months ago. What do you? Those decks suck. But yeah, we didn't know. We didn't get the information back then. It's almost like, what is the quote? There's like a quote for this, like better to not know.
Dude, I
Uh,
literally just said
what?
ignorance is bliss.
Oh shoot, yeah, you just did it. I don't know why, but no, there's a different one that I'm thinking about. That's like the same thing. Yeah, ignorance is bliss, though. Yeah, same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next card. We can actually talk about this one because this
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah, this one's really interesting. It's the Salazzle Stage 1 Fire type Pokemon, 120 HP, and its first attack here, Sudden Roast for 2 colorless energy. What's up?
It's such a funny name. It's just
Sudden
like
Roast.
I can just like imagine like in my head, I'm like imagining just like a group of guys talking and someone just like roasts someone for no reason.
Your
Uh,
opponent chooses and discards 1 card from their hand. If this Pokemon evolved from Salandit during your turn, your opponent discards 2 more cards. And then obviously, in this next set, Shrouded Fable, there is the new Xerosix Scheme that's coming out. I don't know if we know for sure what it's going to be called, but Xerosix Scheme, I think, is what the translations have said,
or six
where your
something.
opponent discards cards until they have 3 left in their hand. So there is a pretty reasonable combo that doesn't seem that hard to assemble.
The fair stamp as well would allow you to
Yeah,
make this work. Late game
plenty of
Ionos,
ways to give your
Roxanne.
opponent a 0 card hand.
Yeah, the question is like the question definitely is from there, how do you win the game? But we do have Gothitelle format, which controls your opponent's top deck. So I don't know. I
This
forget
seems
how does Gothitelle actually work?
you look at your opponent's top 2 cards, put one on top, one on bottom, I think.
It's not that strong of a lock then, to be honest. Is that the only card that controls the top deck right now?
That I know of off the top of my head. Yeah.
Mm. Like theoretically, you could even just like hand lock your opponent, counter catcher something up, and then go Gothitelle plus uh what is it called? Because it takes double turbo, Great Tusk, and you like mill the top card. That's a good card. Give them a bad card, but this only control. You'd give them a random card, which probably isn't good enough. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Salazzle is definitely it has, but it's got that control potential for sure. But I struggle to see what you'd combo this with. Like you kill the hand, but then you still have to win the game. Is the thing.
Right, right. Yeah. You're not dealing with whatever your opponent is attacking with already. And then also, like, if they have a Mew EX on their bench or
E-barrel.
Bieberell or the new Pheasantipity EX, and you would do eventually take a knockout, right? Like,
Yeah. There's still a lot of ways around it. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be a toxic alternate win condition deck for sure.
it's definitely like the type of thing that like it has the potential to become that though.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone's just got to find the perfect combo of cards to make it happen.
I'm sure Sander will try it in something.
He did reply to the tweet.
What do you
New
say?
Xerosic by hand.
Oh, I didn't even see that was Sander. I saw that. I saw it. I didn't read it was Sander though.
Yep.
Already thinking about it. All right, I think that's it for cards. Oh, there was the. No, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. Actually, I think that's all the. There was one card that scared people for a little bit, I believe. You scroll up, maybe. Oh, wait, there was the Vika Vault thing. Oh
Yeah,
no, it's
there's
not on
this new
here.
Charger Bug
Yeah,
lineup attack. Search your deck for up to 3 Charger Bug and put them onto your bench. There's the good old, water duplicates slash Mirage Step. Back in my day, it was water duplicates, but now these kids always talk about Mirage Step.
yeah, they don't know. And then there's this Vika Vault here that for what is it? 2 lightning energy.
Volt. Yeah, 2 lightning
Well,
energy, 120 damage. This attack does 80 more damage for each
oh
of your
wow,
benched Charger Bug.
are we getting 2 lightning on this thing?
That's a good
Generator,
question.
Neo Upper,
It's a lot of energy.
Crispin.
Or it's a lot of damage for 2 energy
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, I mean EXP share potentially.
yeah, yeah. I can see it. I can see it. It sounds bad. It's bad. It's definitely bad. There's no way. It's too much stuff going on.
That's a
But
lot of potential damage though.
this does remind me of that one Vikavolt deck that we missed out on that Japan had access to that we never got. We didn't get the Vikavolt before the Charger Bug rotated or whatever.
Yeah.
Which was kind of sad. I got reminded that I'm reminded of that this week at some point. I forget when. But there was a Charger Bug that could attach itself to a Vikavolt and become 2 lightning energy. Um and the Vikavolt did like 220 damage or something, and you discard the energy. And it was like decent deck in Japan. But we never got our Charge Bug rotated before we got the Vikavolt.
No, they
Or
came out in the same set, buddy.
wait, then why didn't we ever get why didn't we ever play it? No, there was something that was holding us back. Like there was something holding us back from being able
I
to
mean
come
Vikavolt
crush him.
GX rotated.
No, wait, I don't think you're looking at the right Vikavolt. Where is it?
This one? You may discard all lightning
Um,
energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does
was it
100
this
more
one?
damage.
Wait, would they come out in the same set? What was
Yes.
stopping us from playing them together, though?
It probably wasn't that good.
Dude, I don't think that's the right. Maybe. Wait, really? Because I swear it was like a thing that we just never had access to the two cards at the same time. Or is it that
You might be
one?
thinking
Top
of some
one?
other card in the format that made this work, like Rescue Stretcher or something like that rotated.
Oh, was it the thing that recovered 290 HP Pokemon for your discard pile?
Dude, that existed like years after this existed.
Dude, I don't know, bro. There was something that held it back. It was just we just never got the card combination. I swear. Someone in chat confirm, or someone in Discord, or someone in
Dude, you've been
the
streaming too
comment
much.
section confirm. I'm going through everything, bro. Someone confirm, bro. I need someone to confirm. Yeah. Well,
But
that's all the new
yeah,
cards.
that's it for the new cards. There's a couple other ones here, but as far as like the super competitively viable ones, I think that does cover it. Um, yeah, these next couple sets, man, the Energy Excel options that are coming out are crazy. Crispin, Janine, the
Crispin ain't it,
Hydrapple. There's the that glass flute or trumpet, whatever it is.
dude. You need to put the Crispin down.
Dude, I don't know why you don't think Crispin is like sick.
I think it's like fine. I think Crispin's okay. Janine, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of energy acceleration cards. I think
Janine
they
is okay.
they all have a
Honestly, I
lot of
think
limitations though, which I like. I think that's good. That they none of them are like. I mean, I didn't think Raihan was like a toxic card, but they're all like limited.
yeah. Uh I think after playing with it for a little bit this past couple weeks that the Okie Dokie deck is not very good.
The Okie dokie deck.
Yeah, for the Worlds format. Shrouded Fable.
Oh, you mean like the two prize deck?
Yeah, Okie Dokie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I thought you were talking maybe about the fighting one for a second. 'Cause that
Well,
one
I mean, yeah,
actually.
that's also not good.
Well, yeah, that's not good. No, I don't think it was just a two prize beat stick deck. Like, when has that ever been
Yeah, but it
good?
requires a million. It's so convoluted to set up and stuff too,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's bad. It's just a two prize beat stick
well,
deck.
the potential for it, I think a lot of it comes from the Monkey Dory EX because it's a one prize Pokemon that can do a lot of
Yeah,
damage.
that probably is
Uh,
like the biggest thing that'll carry it if it is good.
but like, what if your opponent just goes Gust KO the Petrarunt, and then now you can KO the Monkey Dory the next turn? You know,
We mentioned the Petron, bro. We got
well
more.
that thing goes down too
Why do they always have Gus, bro? If they draw perfectly, Chip,
because
we're always
they
losing, bro.
yeah they draw perfect. What's the point of even playing the game, right?
Yeah, honestly, pack it up. Yeah, it's probably not great because it is just another two prize beat stick deck. We got a lot of those. Got a lot to choose from in the current, array. We got the Boltons or the Bolts. We got the Golden Goes. I saw actually. I was playing in a late night tournament earlier today. Liam Halliburton was playing Palkia. Actually, checking how he's doing, if he's doing well or not.
Thing's still going.
Wait, hang on. I can just control F this. What am I doing?
Well, I did Control F Liam, and he's not in
Two
stage
five
two.
drop.
So.
2-5 drop did not go
Wow, he
well.
stuck it out for a while, huh?
No, he probably forgot to drop. And then
Okay.
yeah.
Sheesh.
Y'all goes 8-1 though. Are they just beginning the second phase of the sheesh?
Yeah, it's a good thing you didn't make phase two, buddy.
Good thing. Well, I could have still
Someone
from
went
where I was.
8-1 drop.
I mean, the tournaments are just so long. People like to play for what they can, and then it's like,
Yeah, then they dip.
got work tomorrow. Got to dip on it. So it's still good practice though, which is like, which
It
I like to
is.
see people utilizing it, even if you're gonna not be able to finish the tournament. Get in there, go make the second phase, make top cut, and then be like, well, time for bed for me. So
It's the best practice you can get in the
yeah,
game for
I
sure,
think so.
outside of like your testing group.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely is.
If you didn't know, playing some online tournaments, it's the way to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
What I've been
Well,
definitely preaching, letting people know about recently is just online tournaments are definitely the best way to go right now.
yeah. Well, before we move on here in the cast, we definitely need to take a moment to give a big thanks to Dragon Shield for being a sponsor of the Uncommon Energy podcast. Of course, Dragon Shield makes some of the best card gaming and tabletop gaming products and accessories on the market. We love them for their sleeves, the binders, the deck boxes, so much more. Yeah, we're all about the sleeves here. Only sleeves that Azul and I use for competitive tournaments. I actually just sleeved up a retro deck today in, I think this is the olive color, a color I've not really used before, but it's like it's not a dual matte, it's just a matte color, and they feel super nice. I have not used this one before. I'm pretty sure it's called olive.
Yeah, I'm stocked up on the yellows. I'm not gonna be sleeving up for a while. Because the next tournament won't be until Worlds. But yeah, huge shout out to Dragon Shield as always, sponsoring the pod.
You're not going to
Hoping to
hit
do
up some
more.
league cups when they come back in a couple weeks?
No, I don't think so. I could be convinced. I could definitely be convinced of it. I've done it.
I
I've
feel
done
like
the no
this is the
locals
this is the
top
time
16
of
run.
year that you would like be most likely to go play a local because there's no other Pokemon tournaments happening.
Yeah, I mean, this would maybe be. I could be convinced, but I don't have any plans to as of right now. Yeah, check the link in the description. Use our code UEPOD, get yourself 5% off, and support us directly here on the podcast. And up next, you got everyone's favorite segment of the podcast, Guess That Flavor Text. It's my week to pick a card and read the flavor text on it, and then give Chip a chance to try and guess which Pokemon belongs to that flavor text. Chip gets 4 points without using a lifeline. For each lifeline used, Chip will get 1 less point. Lifelines are what set the card is from, what stage the card is, and then read an attack name. Currently, Chip is only up by 4 points,
That's how
but
it's been for a couple weeks now.
yeah, it's been that way for a couple weeks. So we'll see if things will turn around and someone will finally get some points. Chip, you ready for this week's flavor text?
Yeah, let's get it, buddy. Easy buckets,
All right.
28-0 incoming. Or 28 to
It's
20.
its streamlined body has little drag in the water. The colder the temperature, the friskier it gets.
Ooh, a little frisky Pokemon, huh? Streamlined body. Well, one of my first thoughts is like Gorbis or Huntail. Streamlined. Yeah, Gorbis kind of seems like the perfect fit here, honestly. And when I said that as well, you kind of flinched. So maybe getting some physical tells. Let me hear the flavor text again, buddy.
Its streamlined body has little drag in the water. The colder the temperature, the friskier it gets.
The friskier it gets, the colder the temperature. So, I mean, I guess it could be like some ice type Pokemon. I definitely, I mean, Gorbis is immediately where my mind went, but I'm definitely not confident enough to just straight up lock it in. Let's go with what set the card is from using at least one lifeline here.
It is from Fates Collide.
There is a Wait, for some reason when you said Fates Collide, I thought Fusion Strike. And there's that Fusion Canceller Gorbis in Fates Collide or in Fusion Strike. So I was like almost about to lock it in, but okay, Fates Collide. That's like the set with Carbink and Zygarde and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember what water type Pokemon are in there. Let's see what stage the card is.
It is a stage 1.
It is a stage 1. I really don't think there's a Gorbis in that set. I think there's a Barbaracle in that set, but that guy is not streamlined. That guy's got all kinds of bumps and stuff going on. I think that's that Barbaracle that like blocked stadiums or something like that that people played in the Glaceon deck. I don't know if you remember that card.
I kind of remember the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Let me read an attack name. Just go all with everything here.
Aurora Beam.
So an ice type, almost definitely. There may be a Dugong in that set. I guess it could be Dugong. Aurora Beam is like the iconic Dugong attack, I feel like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. I can't picture the Dugong from Fates Collide, but I can picture the seal in Fates Collide. So I guess I'm just gonna lock in Dugong. It is pretty streamlined. It likes the cold temperature. Let's go with Dugong.
It is the
Let's
Dugong. I wasn't sure.
go.
I didn't think the attack, like, I wasn't sure what attack name to give you. There's Freezing Breath and Aurora Beam.
Aurora
I
Beam
didn't,
definitely was more helpful.
I didn't know Aurora Beam was an ice attack. We just had no clue. And immediately we're like, oh, it is an ice Pokemon. Okay. Well, I was like, well, Freezing Breath definitely would have told you it's an ice Pokemon. You got to the gong.
Let's get it. I can picture this. Oh, never mind. That's not even the seal I thought it was.
But then it's Fates Collide, though.
It is Fates. Well, yeah, obviously, dude. If there's a Dugong in the set,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a seal in the set.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying that's the one you were picturing,
What was
but it
the
wasn't
seal
Fates
I was
Collide.
picturing?
I don't think I've seen this Fates Collide seal before either. Like I recognize some of these. Look at that one
Maybe this is the one I was thinking of.
right there in the bottom right. That one. Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, this one is sick, dude.
What
This
a
is an
goofy
expensive
goober.
card too because it's from Skyridge. This is a common card. It's $10.
Dude, the thick yellow borders are so ugly.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Did you ever have an e-reader in your Game Boy
Yeah.
back in the day?
No, I didn't have a Game Boy, but
You never had a Game Boy?
mm-mm.
The e-reader was what's up, dude.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, Seal, Dugong, let's go. Back on the board after a few weeks.
1 point, 1 point.
I'm
I'll
glad
time
I
to
did
make it
not
up.
just insta-lock in Gorbis. I think Gorbis makes sense, but, here in the flavor text a little bit more, the cold temperature, yeah, I think an ice type being the choice makes more
Um,
sense.
yeah. I feel like me and you, because 'cause we've gotten burned from not guessing or not, like, locking in guesses sooner, we, like, second guess ourselves into, like, trying to just locking it like, when we think it's it, like, "Okay, let's lock it in. I want the 4 points. I don't wanna, like,
Yeah.
work it down to 1," and then it was the right Pokemon the whole time, so, um,
There's definitely been plenty of, like, psyching yourself out?
yeah, definitely, definitely. So it's psyching ourselves out a little bit where we're afraid of losing those extra points. This is what, Guess That Flavor Dex has done to us.
Yeah, in the very first generation of the game, Dugong is one of only 5 Pokemon that learn the move Aurora Beam.
Man.
So that locked it in for me and narrowed it down quite a bit.
Well, you didn't know that.
What do you mean?
You knew there was only 5 Pokemon that learned Aurora Beam?
No, I didn't, but I knew
Okay.
that Dugong
You know it's one
definitely
of them, yeah.
yeah, like I knew dude, I played these games so much when I was a kid, and yeah, the ice types were like generally like there was not that many ice types in the game, and ice was like pretty decent. So
Yeah, yeah. Alright. Well, we got the new set coming up, but it's a little ways away, but they already have it in Japan, as always. They're getting the cards
stop.
quite a bit sooner than us. Um,
We're just
just I
gonna
didn't
rename
I
the podcast Azul Complains.
well, about one thing specifically, though. But there was a 3v3 tournament in Japan,
You know,
and Higster brought us a little bit of a Twitter thread spotlight of it, which is, pretty cool. So shout out to Higster on that.
yeah, I don't really know the details of what this tournament was. He just
Yeah,
says it was a 3v3 tournament using the same card pool legal for this year's Worlds. So I don't know, like,
I don't think it was streamed, or if it was streamed, it wasn't on
well,
the
I don't
official
think it was like
YouTube.
I don't know if it was an official thing or if it was just like a
Yeah,
store tournament in Tokyo or something like that. But some of the best players in Japan showed up for this thing. I mean, if you just look
yeah.
at the names, he only shows the full lists for the top 2 teams, and the winning team here, 2 of the players on it were Champions League winners, and the other player was Naoto Suzuki, who got second place at the World Championships in 2017. So obviously super stacked there. And then the second place team is crazy. Takuya Yoneda, who for a very long time was just considered like the best player out of Japan. Like we're talking like in the early 2010s era of the game.
Yeah.
Um, Daichi Shimada, who of course got second place at Worlds in 2022, and he has become, one of the mainstay names in Japan the last couple of years. And then Shintaro Ito, who is the 2016 world champion, runner up in 2019, who has become just one of the
Like the
uh,
modern day best
yeah,
Japanese player. Um,
yeah, become a legendary player for sure.
yeah, and they were playing
So
with the new cards. There's not too much of a shakeup. I mean, of course, I feel like the big deck everyone's talking about is this deck, right? The Charizard, Dusknoir, um, Charizard, Dusknoir. Is that a Neo Upper Energy in that other list?
nope, it's a legacy
Ooh,
energy.
of course. Well, it gives
Yeah,
you a
so
little bit
this is
more
actually
wide
pretty
shot control.
interesting. There's definitely some kind of suspect inclusions in some of these lists, I want to say, but it almost makes me wonder if they're trying to like metagame for like who they know is like I don't know the size of this tournament, right? Like are they trying
Yeah.
to make calls based on what they think other people are going to bring type situation? Like this, like why is there 2 lost vacuum? Why do we need 2 lost vacuum in
What do you
Charizard right
mean?
now?
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know what the Dusknoir does, no one cares about the Duskull, but the Dusclops KOs itself and puts 5 damage counters in play on your opponent's side of the field.
Nope,
And the
on
Dust
one Pokemon.
Oh,
Not
on
quite.
one
Yeah, yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah.
It'd be kind of because then the Dusknoir would be really broken if it could. And then Dusknoir KOs itself and puts 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So this does a couple things. 13 damage counters is a lot. So you can just take knockouts. You can go like 1 for 1 on basic Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Like stage
It
1 or basic Pokemon, yeah.
It
Um,
can knock something out. It can boost Charizard's damage threshold early in the game, right? Because you're placing damage counters potentially on their active that you're going to knock out with a Charizard. And then also your opponent takes a prize card. They, are awarded a prize. They're awarded the knockout, whatever. So Charizard just naturally is doing more damage. It also activates Defiance Band. It also activates Counter Catcher. Doesn't quite work with unfair stamp, which is definitely a good thing,
I
I
mean, yeah,
would
actually, that would
say.
be kinda scary. Like,
Yeah.
you just go first and you're like, "Turn 2, Dusclops, unfair stamp."
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Doesn't work with Pheasantipity either, but there are a lot of reasons that the Dusknoir seems really strong in Charizard, and it's not like the Dusknoir card is like pretty cool and unique in and of itself. But I think like it totally makes sense why Charizard has become the place that it's found the best home.
Yeah, the Charizard lists are getting a little bit more boring with it in there. Like, we're seeing, like, double Rotom, double Force Seal Stone, stuff like that. A little bit more straightforward, less one of tech cards. No B barrel anymore. And the deck is gonna be a lot more aggressive now because of that Dusknoir, right? You're ramping up for bigger knockouts sooner and like multi-price turns with the Dusknoir, which is like it's a cool deck. And it definitely seems like this might just be the deck. Like this might be just the best deck in the format. The way people have been
Yeah.
talking about it, the way we see it being played, and this is a good example, there was 2 of them. I don't know what the rules were for the best out of 3 tournament, but 2 of the players on the winning team played Charizard Dusknoir, and then the third was a Block Lax, which included what? The only new card it included was the Stretcher, or had
Yeah.
Xerosic in there as well. The Xerosic is weird to include because we had Hand Trimmer, but I guess you can reuse Xerosic.
Well, Hand Trimmer forces you to discard as well. Xerosic
Oh,
just forces your opponent to discard.
true. And they do have the Ogerpon in there as well, which I assume is for the Charizard matchup. Ogerpon.
Yeah, so definitely pretty interesting here. I guess you could go double Dusknoir to KO the Ogerpon, right?
We're gonna penny it, right? We'll get him out of there.
Oh yeah, yeah, you'd have to do it pretty fast, which doesn't seem feasible.
All right, hear me
Um,
out. 212 Dustnor line to get rid of this
yeah,
Ogerpon.
that's a little crazy.
All right, now you're getting too quiet. Now you're getting too crazy. Calm down.
Yeah, but all the both of the Zard lists here play TM Devo, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it makes sense with Dusknoir, right? You can do some cool things there.
Yeah. Do a couple
The
of punches,
legacy
spread some
the
damage.
the legacy energy in this list is also kind of interesting because it's like, okay, I'm giving my opponent a prize card with the Dusknoir, so I'm gonna make sure they take one less when they knock out my Charizard by using this legacy energy.
Yeah. So then you can regain like odd prize card control with the Radzard. You go like, yeah. So it gives you a little bit more control over the prize trade. It allows you like to play back into like a Radzard turn, and then they go from like 2 to 1, and then you go back into the Charizard or something.
I do think the double or the triple counter catcher in this list is a little interesting because, like you were saying, uh, the Dusknoir lets you be more aggressive with Zard, so it's like you're more likely gonna be taking the early knockout, and, like,
Mhm.
the counter catcher is good on the turn you use the Dusknoir, but if you're, like, using the Dusknoir, then counter catching something, then taking 2 prize cards, it's like you might be ahead and not like, I feel like 3 might just be a little too much, but the 2-2 split of counter catcher boss still seems good.
Yeah, 3 does seem like a lot. I don't know, but yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like the
I guess this
tempo
list
of
does have the legacy energy, so maybe there's more potential to be behind, I don't know.
yeah.
I guess that would be less potential actually to be behind if legacy energy is in the mix.
Yeah, I guess the thing with that would be like just how do the tempo of the matchups play out? Like if they're always all ahead on the prize exchange, you can just counter catch after counter catcher. It definitely seems like you'd probably want to play 2 throughout most games as well because you'll probably fall behind initially and then you can put yourself behind later
Bless you.
with the Dusknoir. But we take a look at the lists from the second place team as well. A little bit less Charizard, and they got some more stuff going on. Got the
We got
Sable
Radiant
Zard here.
Charizard.
Yeah, still I guess still some Charizard.
Yeah, so this list that Takuya played was Lost Zone Charizard. Pretty similar to what Lost Zard was kind of looking like at in the like current format. Does have the
Yeah.
Monkey Dorian here. The Pheasantipity definitely seems pretty decent in this deck.
This is
Also,
attack, 'cause you can attack with it in this build.
yeah, yeah, its attack just does 100 to something to anything.
Also, like snipes?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Um, And then it does play the Night Stretcher. Also, there's a Hassle in here, which is not a new card, but one that might seem new. But I think it's like this is a deck that really enjoyed having Raihan. And it's not quite as good as Raihan because you don't energy excel with it, but just grabbing 2 cards from the top, can function decently as like a fifth Colress. Doesn't add cards to your lost zone, but can fetch you the 2 key pieces you may need.
Yeah, like as your third or even sometimes like second supporter for turn, it could be more impactful, I feel like potentially.
Hmm.
I did see people kind of messing around with that initially on set release, and yeah, I knew I saw it a pretty high up list at NASC. Sawyer Melbourne got top 16 NASC with a hassle over Roxanne.
This is definitely a pretty solid card, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes sense in Lost Zone, right? Because you're just reaching for like big combos.
Yeah.
Hassel digs through the deck a little bit deeper than a Colress would. Also, like another way you can think about it is it's kind of like a fifth Colress after like that's at least one Colress has been played, right? After you've played at least one Colress, Hassel is kind of like a fifth Colress. You're just trying to see new cards to work with, and Hassel digs a little bit deeper.
I actually only thought this got you 2 cards. I didn't quite realize it got you 3
Oh,
cards. That makes this card way better.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
way,
definitely.
way better.
Chip's like, I'm all in for Hassel. Get him in there.
Okay, well, I did not say that.
All right, my bad, my bad.
Uh, the thing that is interesting about this, the Monkey Dorian stuff, I think you were talking about this, like, the Monkey Dory in these lists is pretty interesting because you don't have that many ways to, like, really
Build up your
utilize
own,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. This list does have Magma Basin, but it's pretty limited because it's, like, just Magma Basin and the 1 Radiant Charizard, right?
yeah.
It might
Oh,
almost
that's
be in here
interesting.
more as, like, a
I guess
tech.
anti-Dragapult probably,
Yeah.
or I guess Mirror Match as well, right? They Sableye, you move it back. But if you really wanna beat Mirror Match, you just play a Jirachi, and then you just beat Mirror Match. Well, if that's a concern, I guess, like, other Lost Box decks, your concern is probably Iron Hands more than Sableye Wars. Sableye War isn't really, like, a thing anymore like it used to be, I feel like, in Lost Zone mirrors.
Unless it's literally Sablezard Mirror.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the Monkey Dory is better than Jirachi, though, because it covers
A little bit
2
wider.
bases, right?
Yeah.
It's a
But
little weaker
Dragapult,
in the Lost Zone Sableye War, but gives you it covers Dragapult for you where
yeah.
Jirachi does not.
It just seems like Dragapult's not a deck anymore. Like, it just it's like it's gone. It's kinda crazy.
It is pretty crazy. Speaking of decks that people thought were gone, but might not be, we've got Daichi here
Jap
with the Chien-Pao.
Dude, I feel like Japan loves playing Palkia in Jinpao. So often, like, when I tune into the Champions League streams and stuff, they always have Palkia and Jinpao when it comes on stream. But yeah, the big inclusion here is definitely that Pheasantipity EX, right? Because once the tempo of the prize fight starts going, you can't really Gus KO the Pheasantipity if they're like you're staring down a Chien Pao, potentially.
Yeah, and the Night Stretcher is pretty good in here too.
Oh yeah, that is kind of cool actually.
You can get an energy back or get back, whichever your Pokemon you may need. This list also does not play Prime Catcher, which is pretty
Like
interesting
the
because
unfair stamp.
yeah, the Unfair Stamp, and Counter Catcher. So you do have some Gust in here.
Two
There's also
boss.
2 Boss in this list. There's a Advanced
Definitely
Hammer. Daichi's just got some funky stuff going on here, man.
vacuum. Only one stop. Honestly, I kind of like the unfair stamp. You have Yerda to find it. Also, unfair stamp is just broken. The card, like the more I've played with the card is like like I would prefer, especially after playing
Unfair.
at NAIC. Like I don't, if I could, there's obviously gonna be some decks that where different ace specs are better. But if I could choose to just play one ace spec, the rest of the time ace specs are in the format, I would want to be unfair stamp. It just feels like it gives so much more opportunity than any other ace spec. Like Prime Catcher is obviously really nice and really aggressive, but I feel like unfair stamp is it just feels better. I don't know.
And then
Big thing.
Shintaro here with his Regidrago V-Star deck. Yeah, I think this deck is fully on the map. I think it's like something that is probably part of the meta share at Worlds, to be honest. Like, I think like
Might get there.
could be like 6th most popular deck for sure.
Just get two big inclusions, or at least one. Hacktress is only a big inclusion if there's Lugia in the format, right? But even then, for anyone who doesn't know what the Hacktress does, the first attack just knocks out something with a special energy. But Lugia plays Mist Energy.
Yeah, well, the second attack is
Oh,
decent too.
what does it do? I actually
Just
don't know.
230.
Oh, that's actually not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to discard the top 3 cards of your deck.
Oh,
So it's a pretty steep cost, but as far as like dealing damage to the active, right, is one of your best options because like Dragapult is cool, does 200 and then the 50 spread, but sometimes you just want to like KO the Miraidon
yeah.
EX in their active spot, right? Or KO the
You have the
Lugia
Pheasantipity.
V, right?
Yeah, it definitely
So
gets there.
Haxorus does give you that. The Curum, pretty crazy, right? Because you can use it for 3 energy. You don't have your opponent doesn't have to have a Colress in their discard pile. You can just do 110 to 3 things.
Oh yeah,
Curum is pretty nuts in this, dude.
I didn't realize that. You do have to discard all your energy, right?
You do. So it is still
That's a
pretty
pretty.
costly.
I'll take that trade off.
Yeah.
Sheen Pow players got to put Manaphy back in. Turn to Kyurem, to board wipe the whole squad. Doesn't matter if you get 3 Yeah, they have to put down 4 Frigibacks or
Yep.
just play a Manaphy. The 3 Frigibacks game plan against like the Greninja play doesn't work anymore. You got to put down 4.
The biggest thing that I think is missing from this list is there's no Hisuian Gudra.
I don't know how good it actually is, to be honest. I'm not sure. Another cool card in here is the Scoop Up Cyclone. Actually, I realized that's in there. Heal, get a liability out of play.
I
That
think
does it all.
Shintaro played Scoop of Cyclone to the Champions League as well, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering right, Shintaro played this deck to, or not Champions League, to the Japan Championships.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Hmm. Yeah. And we did see it pop up at NAIC, right? Like it did get top 16. Of course, it gets more
I
tools
think this
moving
deck is
forward.
good, dude. I think this deck is good.
All right, I'm not sold on it yet. Lugia doesn't seem to be super relevant next format. Who knows? Lugia always can pop back up. So Haxorus is like not that as good. But the Kyurem, I didn't realize. Yeah, you're right. You can just use Kyurem and just attack for 3 energy. You do lose the energy, but doing 110 to 3 things is pretty good. So yeah, I'm coming around on it a little bit for sure. I'm coming around. Put a Crispin in there, some energy acceleration.
Shintaro did play this deck to
Okay, yeah.
the Japan oh, sorry, Rush Card Rush. Sorry, I thought this was Japan Championships, but he's been playing
Oh,
the Scoop Up Cyclone in this.
Ben rocking it.
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, yeah, definitely worth looking into for sure. I'm not
nah,
trying to
it's
be a hater,
broken.
Chip. Like, yeah,
Lock
all
it
right,
in.
broken. Yeah, lock it in. I'm playing this at Worlds.
Yep, you should, because it's
You know,
broken.
we haven't seen any of no United Wings. There was no United. No one's playing United Wings at this tournament, unfortunately.
Probably for good reason, but United Wings is cool. You know, got some new friends, right?
Do you think if the Dartrix had came out immediately, it would have been how much better do you think it would have been?
I think if it had been out, well, maybe honestly, with Zard coming more back into the fold and then Dragapult kind of falling off a little bit more, I don't know. Maybe United Wings could actually be pretty decent.
Maybe.
I could see it.
Especially if like Sablezard is like the way to play Lost Box decks, you could just play Jirachi and no
You just got to throw a
Manaphy.
couple Rowlet in there for the Zard matchup.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see if it maybe it comes around. Might be a sleeper pick
I don't know,
for
man.
the
I
World
could see it.
Championships. Shamancy's gonna roll up with it again as soon as it gets the buff. Played at what NAIC last year, I think, right?
He did, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Him and Josh Frink played it.
All right.
And then there was a couple other interesting lists that made top 4 that Hegster added in here. Didn't give the context of like who played them, but yeah, another Zard list. This one has the max belt. This one looks a little bit more standard, I would say. Outside of that, there's no like Devo or anything like that.
I'm not sure why Hector thought that was interesting. I'm looking at him like, I don't know, just Zard, right? It's a different take. The A spec's different. Okay, there's some things that are different.
There's the
Um,
Dialga, which seems,
well,
it's
it's
kind of
got that.
interesting. Dialga fell off like completely, but it doesn't
Yeah,
seem bad right now
two of
in the
them
format.
made top 16 at the Japan Championships. Like, what they weren't far. I don't know how it did at NAIC. I don't think any of them did great at NAIC.
I
Um,
lost one round one. That was fun. That matchup
yeah,
seemed really bad for Gardevoir, I'll say.
I'm not sure how good it is, to be honest. I don't know how good it is right now. Like the deck is still powerful. Of course, like meta is always going to be a pretty big influence on it.
It does get the Pheasantipity, which is kind of cool because they can knock something out and then you can go start. You can draw 3 with Pheasantipity,
Oh
start
yeah,
Chronos, and then draw 3 with Pheasantipity again.
how's it worded? Are you sure you can do that? It makes sense in
Well,
my head, but
that's how similar cards work.
that's how Oricorio worked. Wait, why could we do that with Oricorio?
Huh?
Could we do that with Oricorio?
Yeah.
What card you combo with?
I don't know that there was anything at the time. There the skip turns thing. There was but there's something recently with Metacham where you could like use the ability again
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of how it was
yeah.
worded.
Yeah, you could Raihan twice. You could
Yeah,
Raihan,
yeah,
Metacham,
yeah. That's what it
Raihan.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah. So as
yeah.
long as it's worded similarly, we don't know because we haven't seen like the actual
That's
translation, right?
true.
But it
Yeah,
should be during your opponent's last turn if they, if somebody was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, whatever.
yeah. Your opponent,
Um,
yeah.
and then another
Doesn't get
Dialga
sure.
list here as well. What's up with the Oh, this is the stadium that puts a card on top of their deck of your
From
deck,
your
right?
hand, right?
Yeah, I thought this was Festival Grounds, and I was like, "Why are we playing Festival Grounds in the Dialga deck?"
I guess, put an energy on top, right? That's got to be the
Yeah,
biggest reason to include that. Is that better than just not just playing more metal energy though? I don't even know.
It may not be. I mean, your
Maybe they
odds
need
of
a
hitting are
stadium
so
bump.
high already, right?
Yeah, maybe a stadium bump is important right now. It's just the best stadium. That could be it.
Also can, like, help if you think you're gonna get Iono'd, right? Like, I mean, it's like there's,
Yeah,
like, good use cases for having the card hanging around. Or, like, this is a deck that plays for research. Sometimes you have Prime Catcher in your hand, and you don't wanna use it yet. So,
true.
throw
This list
that.
plays 2 counter catcher, which I don't hate because falling behind with Dialga is not bad because you can make up for it with Star Chronos later. That's
Sure.
interesting for sure. I've ever seen a Dialga list with oh, this one has 1. This one's got a counter catcher as well.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Maybe that just the tempo of games, you just like it's okay with falling behind, or you do generally fall behind.
Both lists do have Buddy Buddy Poffin, which has definitely been a point of contention amongst the Alga enjoyers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, getting Bedlam's down early is nice. I'm not arguing against it.
This list only has 3 Super Rod, though. I think I'm definitely playing 4 Super Rod in this deck.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, four super hard feels like such a big card in the deck. Playing 3 of them definitely feels off. Agree with that. Yeah. Well, some little bit of switch up. Nothing too crazy. Um, doesn't look like that. The loyal 3 box dark box deck is very good. I don't think that's making the cut.
Yeah.
But definitely so excited to try out the new cards. I mean, I wasn't really expecting like a huge shift. But to be honest, Dusclops, Dusknor, could definitely actually change up the pace of the game quite a bit. To be honest, if like Charizard Dusknor is just the best deck overall, and how that deck functions might drastically change up what actually can compete at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're kinda just seeing, like, there's definitely a couple nice new tools from this set, but it is a mini set, right? It's never gonna be like
Yeah,
it's probably not gonna be that impactful. I guess there was a chance that the Loyal 3 deck could have been that impactful, right? But not quite what, is looking like is gonna happen. Um, what we're most likely just seeing is kind of the natural evolution of the NAIC format, right? And I think if you look at the results of the NAIC format, Charizard seems pretty good into the things that did well at that tournament. Dragapult didn't do super well, Stall didn't do super well. Let's run the Charizard deck, and then it does get the cool new tool in the Dusknoir as well.
yeah,
So
yeah, definitely. All right, well, this is the shortest episode I think we've had in a while, Chip.
it's been a while.
Yeah,
For a while, we were only having like hour-long episodes, like when we first started, but it's been a long time since that happened.
but I don't got anything else to say. I think we covered everything else that was big and happening this week. So unless you got anything else, then you can send us out.
Yeah, I think that's it for us this week. We are going to continue things, of course, over on the bonus episode. But for now, we really appreciate the support. As always, if you do enjoy the podcast, please be sure to show that support by leaving us a comment, a like, a review, rating, subscribe here on the YouTube channel, follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those things help us out a ton, help more people discover what we're doing over here with the Uncommon Energy podcast. And yeah, we really appreciate the support and the kind words as always. Be sure to stay up to date with us over on x.com. You can follow myself at Chip Ritchie, Azul at Azul underscore GG, and you can follow the podcast at Uncommon underscore Energy.
Yeah, appreciate the support as always. Catch y'all next week, 7 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday.